Hey, how are you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show, and I'm going to compare the new MegaLoop antenna that I got against my old 31-foot vertical antenna from MFJ, which is right now has been my best antenna for shortwave. The peak of the 31-foot antenna, it's a long wire on a telescopic pole, is up 31 feet. The MegaLoop is, the center of the loop is up about 13 feet. So I'll give you a comparison. I did some testing yesterday, and it didn't appear that on shortwave that MegaLoop was directional. I rotated it, took some measurements, rotated, took some measurements, and they're pretty much the same. Of course, the signal on shortwave goes up and down. I really couldn't tell it much difference, maybe slightly. So I'm not worried about the fact that it's pointed a certain direction. Right now, it's in the direction of east, southeast, perpendicular to the antenna. And the stations I'm receiving right now are probably just south of me in Cuba or South Florida. The one listed to right now is a transmitter, I believe, from China Radio, but the transmitter is in Cuba, I believe. That's where we're going to compare that signal and maybe a couple other ones close by. It is just past 8 a.m. here in Clearwater, Florida. So that's the time. Right now, I'm connected to antenna B, which is the loop. I've got the power supply providing bias T from the SDR. The SDR is the RSP DX. That's a situation. Now, the other variables are the cables coming from the various antennas. As I showed you in an earlier show, the MegaLoop comes with a very thin, small coax cable. It's about 25 feet long. I am not using the power supply that's supplied with it that provides power to the preamp, which is up by the antenna. It does have a preamp. And the vertical antenna is using a heavier gauge. I think it's RG59 with B and C connectors on both ends. And because it's B and C and I'm going into an SMA on the SDR, I have to go through an adapter to go from B and C to PL239, and then I have a short cable that's about the same diameter of the long cable on the MegaLoop to convert from the PL239 down to SMA. So that's the setup. So we're going to do a little bit of testing here, not scientific at all, just kind of what I'm doing, and see if there's a big difference both in signal and in noise between two antennas. So right now I'm on the MegaLoop, which is antenna B up here. And I've got the amplifier turned on. I can turn the amplifier off and just show you. You can look down here at the signals and the waveform down here. So here we go. I'm going to turn off the power supply to the preamplifier right now. Boom. Signal goes way down. Signal's still pretty good, but significant reduction without that preamplifier. So I'm going to turn that back on, and then I'm going to leave it on because that's how you use this MegaLoop antenna. Now, we're going to switch. Look at the signal over here, and I'm going to switch to the vertical antenna. Now, Now, only thing I see is there's some other spurious, I'll call them spurious, signals that show up. And if I look at those or listen to those, it's just noise. So a big difference right offhand, and I've noticed it on other frequencies and stuff like that, is the vertical antenna seems to allow more noise to come through, just noise, not stations. The station's amplitude seems to be about the same as the MegaLoop. So we're going to switch back to the MegaLoop. Now you can also watch this right here, the signal to noise ratio right here. So it's running about plus 15 on the vertical. Now when we switch, now, it takes a second for the software to switch. Now it's still about the same. But notice, and it's gone off the screen now. Let me see if I can move this. Probably should have expanded this a little bit. But on the MegaLoop, a lot of these spurious signals that I saw before are gone. We switch back to the vertical, boom, and see, here's some noise, here's some noise, here's some noise right here. Let me go back to the MegaLoop and watch it. Right here is where it switched and all this went away. I don't see a big difference in the signals as far as looking at the signals. Okay, now let me turn the audio on and then switch.
Por el pecado.
The second part,
MegaLoop.
La segunda parte de la oración es cuando el Señor consagra a los 12
Vertical.
y todos sus sucesores y los une a sí mismo en su sacrificio.
and the third part of the
Y la tercera parte de la
MegaLoop.
oración es cuando el Señor ora por todos aquellos que serán los beneficiarios
of his ministry.
de su ministerio.
It appeared that, to me, it appeared that the audio on the MegaLoop was a little higher than on the vertical. Both of them still doing pretty good. Now, again, this is at 5.970. The MegaLoop is supposed to be good from 30 megahertz down to, oh, I forgot how low. Let me see something. Hold on. My memory's no good, but I do have the power adapter, which I think it has written on there, the frequency range, and it does, yes, 0.5 megahertz to 30 megahertz. That's the range of the loop antenna, supposedly. Which means, which is what I'm looking for, it should work down on the long wave band. I haven't been successful in receiving a long wave broadcast band, but I did early this morning receive a local beacon on the long wave band. So let's try a signal over here. Let's move up. Don't know what station that is. Let's unmute it.
Nuevo crimen contra el pueblo de Palestina. Hablamos de la anexión de Cisjordania por Israel. El pacto Molotov-Ribbentrop a la luz.
Okay, I think that's Radio Habana in Cuba at 6.1 megahertz. Strong signal. They usually are this time of the morning here where I'm located. So now let's switch antennas. I'm going to leave it muted, and you can concentrate down here on this as far as the peak, on this, and on this down here. So it's on the MegaLoop. We're going to the vertical now. Little, maybe slightly lower, but of course, being shortwave, it's going up and down, so it's really hard to determine. And I'll have to look at this recording after the fact and slow speed to see if I see any differences. Again, the differences I see is like right here, there's a bunch of noise. Pretty sure this is noise on the vertical. Let's switch back to the MegaLoop, and it cuts that out. It's gone. So that preamp that's up there on the pole with the MegaLoop also probably does some filtering as far as filtering out spurious transmissions, where the vertical, the 31-foot vertical, doesn't have any preamp. So all the filtering it gets is through this SDR Uno. Let me go up, and the other thing I can do, which is a great feature in SDR Uno, is here's a listing of stations in the 49 meter band. I can right click on this and say filter and only show me the frequencies that I've tuned. And there is one. May not be correct. It says Radio Afghanistan, which I don't think is correct, because there are many stations that use the same frequency. I think that is Radio Habana. That's what I think that is. So let's turn that filter off. Now the other thing we can do is we can do, again, SDR Uno, can do a scan of all these frequencies. Let's just try that. So I'm on memory scan, and this is my memory. Now, the one thing I have to be careful about, and I know it's going to happen, is this memory bank has also got over here, it's got the antenna to use. So it's going to, when it does a scan, it's going to switch automatically to antenna A. When it finds something and I stop, I can switch it back to B. So here we go. Let me, I'm looking for some added features to this, which is supposed to come out in, I think, version 1.43, where they record some additional things when it does a scan. This, I'm using version 1.33, not version 1.4, which is the latest. So I should have mentioned that before. So let's try a scan, and then we'll call it quits. So here we go.
Que destaca, miren, que nació Ash, el primer koala, nació.
Okay, this is only scanning the 49 meter band. Now keep in mind, this is only going to use antenna A in the scan. I would have to create another memory bank with all the antennas set to B. Okay, it's already, okay, it went through the entire 49 meter memory bank, and you saw a few stations that it found around 6 megahertz. Now I can go to another one, like the 31 meter band. I'll select that one, and again the antenna is going to be set probably to A. Yeah, so keep that in mind. Again, if it finds a station that seems interesting, I'll stop the scan and I'll switch to the other antenna which is the MegaLoop. Here we go. Scanning time. Go. Not much up there. Around 9 megahertz, 10 megahertz. This is usually good for me in the afternoon. Okay. We'll pause. We'll switch it in. Boy, he's loud. He must be from Cuba also. 9.80. Now, what I can do is, again, I can turn the filter on, and it will tell me what this possibly is. Again, this doesn't look correct. It says it's KBS World Radio, which I believe is in the United States. Could be. I'd have to look that up on the website to see if they're broadcasting right now at 9.805. I'm guessing. Now, the thing is, a lot of these Spanish-speaking stations that are close to me are not registered in any database, so they don't show up. So let's turn that back off. And now we'll unmute, and then I'll switch to the MegaLoop. Unmute. Watch this.
Esas son campanas que nos están tocando. Nosotros estamos siendo testigos de una serie de cambios que en nuestra vida,
Vertical.
70 años, en nuestra vida, yo nunca había visto la severidad y la frecuencia con la que cierto.
Okay, I saw quite a bit of difference in the amplitude at 9.805 for the MegaLoop. They're both very strong, but the MegaLoop seemed to be stronger and have less noise. I mean, to me right now, it's showing me that, based on this limited amount of testing, that the MegaLoop seems to have less noise on it than my vertical. Again, there's lots of variables. Okay, I think we're going to call it quits there. My conclusion, based on this little bit of testing, again, is the signal strength between the two antennas seem to be the same. Maybe the MegaLoop would be higher if I rotated it, or it was higher in the sky, 13 feet now versus 31, the tip of the vertical. And the noise level on the MegaLoop seems lower. What do you think? Please leave a comment. Tell me what you think. If there's any other testing you'd like me to try, maybe a different band. I'm going to try some more long wave testing in the evening and see if I can capture my first long wave broadcast station, probably from Africa or Europe. That's it. If you enjoyed this show, please give me a thumbs up and have a great day. Bye-bye.